What popular rumor in your school turned out to be true? Two of the science teachers do shrooms together, found out cause one of their sons was a student. In middle school, there was a rumor my 7th-8th grade social studies teacher owned a pet donkey. Turned out to be true. The donkey's name was Pedro the donkey. Some girl had sex with her half-brother. We all thought it was rumor until she got drunk at a party and told everyone. A girl in my econ class lost her dad, but a rumor started going around that he didn't die. He was arrested as a serial killer. Turned out to be true and was featured a few years ago on Evil Lives Here show. The new teacher was rumored to be a pedophile. We found out it was true when he got arrested just a couple days into the second semester. This was a rumor that went around my elementary school. Basically my school had a lockdown, but they didn't tell us what it was for. One kid came in the next day and told us that his sister said it was a cow in the field in between the high school and middle school. So my 2nd grade class went and told everyone else in the school. The next day we had an assembly that confirmed this rumor. My middle school math teacher, married man, was having an affair with one of the special education teachers. Went on for years. After I graduated high school, he killed himself when the other woman gave him an ultimatum. Confirmed by a family member that worked as a substitute teacher. Coincidentally, said family member also had an affair with another employee there that resulted in that employee shooting herself in front of my mother. Our freshman science teacher was a massive jerk to any girl, and would frequently throw the dress code book at girls for the slightest issue. Everyone said it was because he was pissed his daughter became a stripper. That ended up being true. We had heard an underclassman, she was 15-ish, was sleeping with a local army guy, but nobody really believed it until the day our school got locked down. BC her boyfriend showed up with a knife. The boyfriend, in his 30s, was intending to force her go get an abortion, but our principal was a badass who locked her in his office, then took the boyfriend down and held him in a headlock until the cops arrived. The band teacher was having a long-term affair with one of the students. We were in 8th grade. Her parents apparently knew about it all along and were fine with it. But one of the other band parents noticed inappropriate behavior when she was helping chaperone a Disney trip they were all on. It was big news lol. I had a science teacher that was rumored to get a boner whenever he started shouting. We thought it was a myth until we noticed it for real. He would always try put one leg up on a chair to hide it. That a girl in my grade gave her older brother a BJ with Pop Rocks in her mouth for $50. Her fiancé confirmed it for us years later. Turns out it's a fetish of hers. The Pop Rocks, not the incest. That this hot chick at my school was banging 2 army recruiters. Found out it was true when they were on the news being arrested. One of them ran to I think Michigan with his wife and kids. The band director was grooming and seducing his favorite female percussionists. That I'm a lesbian. I'd how this 7th and 8th grade murfkers at 2 different schools knew before I did. There was always a rumor that the head janitor was a huge pothead and would smoke with students in one of the storage sheds away from the main building. I always figured it was bullshit until my friend CJ sent me a pic of him and the janitor smoking weed while surrounded by folding chairs. One of the teachers was banging a student. They got caught the year he left, but it was rumored 3 years before that. Kinda funny one. There was an ongoing rumor/joke that there was a pool on the roof of the gym. The rumor started because the swim team would do their stretches up there before heading to the actual pool across town. Don't know why they did it up there. The year that I graduated was also the last year of the gym because it was going to be demolished. During the last few weeks of school, the swim team actually snuck a small kiddie pool up there and left it there till the school officially closed for summer break. I knew about it because I've got friends on the swim team. Rumor was a particular freshman girl could fist herself. Seemed outlandish. She was kind of quiet and nerdy. Dated her the next year. Oh. New physics teacher was a total creep. The old spidey sense kicked in for all of us. We could all tell something was wrong with the guy. Most of us dropped the class. Plus he sucked as a teacher and everyone was failing. Years later I stumbled across a news article saying the teacher was fired and arrested for videotaping girls in the classroom through the use of camera hidden in the classroom, mostly aimed at cleavage and upskirt/shorts shots. We knew he was a weirdo. Time always tells the tale. That one of the students was actually a cop. Turns out he was a cop and busted one of the actual students for selling handguns in school. If you thought 21 Jump Street was unrealistic, think again. Cop was a 33-year-old male and undercover for like half the semester. In high school, that the biology teacher was growing weed in the environmental lab. Supposedly he did it for 30 years without anyone noticing. No one could ever prove it though. Later on, I was assigned to be the agent taking care of some of his financial matters. So I went to his house to have him sign some paperwork. He had a hydroponics setup there, so I asked him about the environmental lab. It was like Han Solo in The Force Awakens. It's true. All of it. Then he offered me a brownie. In my Catholic, Jesuit, high school, one of the priests and one of the nuns were very close friends. We all loved them, and we could see that they were quite fond of one another, and they made a really nice-looking couple. We used to affectionately kid them about meeting in the tunnel between the convent and the rectory. A few years after my class graduated, they both left their orders, got married, and had kids. We're all happy for them. We had a dean who retired one summer. Turns out, he was busted in a huge prostitution/drug sting by cops. He had 2 prostitutes and cocaine in his apartment when he got rolled up, ended up pleading guilty to felony drug possession, a few others I can't remember, and sentenced to 5 years of probation. He was an advisor for the school's drug/alcohol task force. Nice enough guy. Really cool with all of his students, maybe too cool. Always seemed to have super red eyes. One of our teachers were fucking a rich student's dad for expensive cars and other shit. Heard her talk about it in the hallway on her phone. Biology teacher decided to use the scientific method to personally prove or disprove to himself that humans could photosynthesize. He did this by laying bare ass naked on his front lawn, landing him a public nudity charge. That one of the seniors in my school wrote all over the men's bathroom about bringing a bomb to school. The bomb squad evacuated us all. Dogs came and they found one in a random locker. It was absolutely nuts. Kid got arrested 2 seats next to me in English class a couple of days later once they could prove he did it. That I stole a pen. The rumor was freaking buzzing, but man, it was like the worst pen in the school, so it was not worth stealing that pen. That one of the gym teachers was a pedo. He was found having sex with someone to raise their grades, and then there was a list of students found when his private office was searched. My AP US Gov teacher was the daughter of Phil Jackson. We all believed it, and during his last Lakers game her and her family was there and shown on screen. Got a screenshot of her at the game and shared with some friends. We all knew for sure then, but we never really brought it up to be respectful as she didn't like the attention for it. The captain of the cheerleader squad got a breast reduction to go from H-cups to DD. Oh, and also, some relatively unknown girl did porn on her senior year spring break after she turned 18. And this was 25 years ago, so she had to send letters and photos in the mail to set it up. One summer, we came back to school and noticed that the very popular drumline instructor and one of the female drumline members, 16 years old, had both disappeared. Obviously, we jumped to the conclusion that there was an inappropriate relationship going on. Just a few years ago, I was sitting next to a band teacher at a bar, and I relayed this story. He confirmed that it was true. That this girl at my school who was maybe 16 was banging all the older kids who never left for college. Well, she definitely was, and everyone found out when she banged one of the cooler guys still in high school, and there ended up being a herpes outbreak at my school. Nearly 40 people got herpes lol. Apparently this kid in our class could fill a Pringles can with his DK. No one believed it until a girl confirmed it. Her eyes when she talked about it was like a soldier remembering war stories. Oh. That the butch bully of my school was going to stab me. The teachers found her 3 days after an altercation I had with one of her lackeys waiting on the oval for me to come to school and showing the knife to a big group of kids in my year level. It refused to go to school after the fight, thankfully. She got a week's suspension. Rumor, that a new freshman girl, I was sophomore or junior, was caught shooting heroin in girls' room. 10 to 20 years later, talking casually to a woman in a business setting saying she'd started school where I was but caught early using heroin in bathroom. It was a deal breaker with the school for some square reason. She didn't know I heard the rumor, I didn't tell her either. Her family was loaded and she, a freshman, drive to school in a Porsche or Jaguar. I remember that rumor too. Definitely same chick. That the creepy track coach/computer teacher with a Corvette and a hair transplant, worst case of midlife crisis I've ever personally seen, was banging an underage student. That Ryan's mom f***ed his friends. Found out it was true when I f***ed Ryan's mom. That the science teacher and music teacher were having an affair. They got married in year 9. One of my mom's best friends is an old teacher of mine, and she asked me if my head knew. I was head 8 when it happened. I was in the class when one of the boys asked her if she gave blowjobs to the science teacher. She burst into tears and left. This woman had been the one to come in and yell at us but somehow forgot I was there. 2 brothers ran a train on 2 girls who were sisters in the back of a car. Apparently they all got very close that day. The severely overweight, married English teacher invited 2 boys for a double penetration orgy. She was fired and they were suspended. Was cheating on her BF with college guys. She was 16. Going on 17 at the time. That the theater teacher liked to kiss young boys and then swear them to secrecy, figured it was just a rumor that got out of hand. He registered as a sex offender in 2014. He also, obviously, lost his job. The school principal ended up resigning too because she had heard the rumors of him kissing boys before and had done nothing. Pretty surprising considering he was a really dedicated teacher, and I even got to be in a few shows he directed and it was fun. Such a shame. Here's a 2-for-1. First was that one of the kids in my grade was gay. Even back then, most people didn't care, so I didn't think anything of it. Second was that one of the kids hung himself on a swing set in a local park. They didn't say who it was, and just thought it was a vicious rumor about the same guy. Then 4 girls who were close to him came down the stairwell crying and ran out the front door and started heading in the direction of the park. It was confirmed around noon. We were sent home after lunch. There was a family in my town that fostered to adopted all their kids. Everyone had known one of their daughters since she was quite young, and then they adopted another girl her age when we were in 8th grade. They did not get along. When the original girl developed epilepsy a few years later, her new sister claimed she was faking and everyone thought she was so fucking mean and ostracized her. Eventually, she had to fess up to faking the seizures all along when she signed up for basic training, which she never even completed. Unfortunately, this was after we all graduated, so we never got to apologize to her sister. Skeptical.